Is any meaningful political action possible in a nation informed through television?
Well, don't leave the press out. You know, I think they play their part, too. I don't know that you can ever learn much from television because it's so spotty. And also, you're not supposed to look into a pulsing light, which is television. It's very bad for the... Your brain immediately goes from alpha waves, which is when you're really thinking, to beta waves, when your mind is sort of resting. And I don't know about you, it may just be, and now that I'm in the springtime of my senility, it may well be my brain is going, but simultaneously I find I often don't understand what they say. They're speaking quite clearly, and I'm one sentence behind. Then I fall 2 sentences behind. Then it gets very surrealist. No, I don't think it's an ideal method of information, but we don't have any alternative.
You said that the nation-state will be replaced by the city-state. Isn't the new unit of power really the multinational corporation?
Well, that's certainly true. The multinational, you know, in the old days, by old days, 30, 40 years ago, something like 45% of the revenues of the U.S. government came from the taxpayers, income tax. And about 45% came from taxes on corporate profits. 45% still comes from us, and the corporations contribute about 10%. That is why people are paid money by corporations to go to Congress to make special legislation. It's all perfectly legal, so that they don't have to pay tax. So they make no contribution, and the people make a considerable one. That is one of the problems that would have to be addressed at some point. How you curb them, I don't know. You can't find them. I did a piece a few years ago on ITT, and well, they paid no tax in America on a couple $1 billion profits. And I was told that you can't really find them. If you send a postcard to Zurich, you might get an answer, but then again, you know, they're traveling all the time. They're vacationing. ITT is probably in Hawaii now, you know, and under an assumed name. So I don't quite know how you trap them, but I certainly would like to.
What advice would you give President Clinton about his ongoing problems with the sex scandals surrounding the White House right now, its interns, etc.?
Well, now we get to the point. Thought you'd never ask. His first mistake was the famous 6-hour deposition to Ken Starr, in which asked about Monica, whom I think of. You remember that movie, Play Misty for Me? Well, there's a girl in there who tries to kill Clint Eastwood, who's a disc jockey. She's mad, and it looks not unlike Monica. I would be worried about her. His mistake was, when asked, had he had sexual relations with this enchantress, he should have said his own most famous line, "Don't ask, don't tell." In other words, Judge Starr, none of your damn business. That's what a real president would have done. Can you imagine Abraham Lincoln answering that question? George Washington's sword would be halfway through. This pudgy prosecutor. You remember there was an actor called Grady Sutton, a big southern sissy with a big round face. He was always in W.C. Fields movies. He was a wonderful foil for Fields. And Fields finally turned on him one day and said, "Grady, the problem with you is you've got too much of the tomboy in you." Well, I feel that about Ken Starr. There's just too much of the tomboy in him, and he's feeling his oats. And any man who says the First Amendment is about truth should be put away in an institution, preferably the last year of high school, where you are given the Bill of Rights to read. The First Amendment is about telling lies and free speech. Truth doesn't enter into it at all. You know, there was a book not long ago called The Day That America Told the Truth, oxymoronic title, and 94% of our countrymen admitted to being habitual liars. Now, do we want an unrepresentative president? I should say not.
Mr. Vidal, you write very readable novels. Why do you give them such dull titles like Washington, D.C. and the Smithsonian Institution?
So that you would ask me that question.
Who is providing the world's intellectual leadership these days, if any?
I see nothing discernible on any horizon that I have addressed my eye to. I'm told in Latvia there are a couple of very bright guys. And there's one woman in Riga who knows everything on Earth, but I can't get her address either. I think she works for ITT.
Who is your favorite author?
Oh. In my lifetime, the only writer I wholeheartedly admired was Italo Calvino, an Italian writer. Further deponent saith not.
Well, before I ask our final question, I have some things here for you. I think
mug.
Well, no. Two of these things I've already seen before. One is a certificate of appreciation for appearing today.
Thank you.
One is our own history, the National Press Club's 90th anniversary history, which I hope you'll curl up with on the sofa.
Yes.
And you can put this on at the family homestead in Italy.
Tupperware. That's why I come here.
And for our last question today, why is it that you live in Italy anyway?
Well, I get work done there. I write there, and if I'm here, I politic all the time, which takes up a lot of time. But I own a house in the Hollywood Hills, so arguably, I don't live in America at all.